Welcome to Big Talk with Dr. Linda, a podcast dedicated to helping women of color connect with their Black inner goddess. I'm your host, Dr. Linda Thompson, former university professor, a licensed nutritionist, Reiki master, certified breathologist, and lifelong spiritual seeker. Greetings and welcome to Big Talk. I'm your host, Dr. Linda Thompson. Today's podcast is entitled Big Disconnect. How do we get disconnected from our inner goddess? Now, in episode 1, we defined divine feminine and inner goddess and began to look at the baggage we carry that keeps us from connecting to them. Not loving our bodies is one piece that needs unpacking. But before we can dive deeper into loving our bodies, we need to name the things that make it hard to. Did you ever stand in front of the mirror and feel like you're looking at more than just your reflection? Like a whole history is looking back at you? Do you see your mother or your grandmother's reflection? I know as I've gotten older, when I look in the mirror, I'm seeing my mother flashing right back at me. For so many of us, our relationship with our bodies has been shaped by a whole lot more than just what we see. Starting when we were little girls, we were told as African Americans, your nose is too big, you're too dark, your hair is too hard to work with, you're getting too big, and of course, you'd be pretty if. And these messages stick. They just don't go away when we grow up. They become part of our unconscious and they become part of our unconscious, our subconscious, and often shape the way we see ourselves. Of course, we were influenced by the images that we grew up with, and these images kind of told us what beauty should look like. This is especially true during the imprinting years of ages 1 through 6. And for those of us over 45, our images of beauty were thin white women with long straight hair. The Barbie dolls we played with were the idealized look for white women. When a Black version came out, it had the same body type and same hair, same features, but just colored brown. So what was that? That still wasn't reflecting us. So many of us learned early to critique our hair, our nose, and our skin tone. We got programmed to admire something outside of ourselves. I remember as a young child, my mother constantly pinching my nose so it wouldn't get too broad. Starting with slavery, we've been told we were ugly, subhuman, and our purpose was to serve white people. We have been constantly told since slavery that our natural self isn't enough. So it's no wonder it's hard for us to totally accept and love our bodies. It's been programmed in our DNA. From our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, we were raised hearing things like, don't get too dark in the sun. Oh, she got that nappy hair. You'd be pretty if you lost a little weight, or stop crying. You don't have time to be weak. I'll give you something to cry about. I remember them. These messages stay with us. They affect how we see ourselves in the mirror. They affect how we treat ourselves, how we eat, how we love, and how we mother. And speaking of our mothers, many of our moms were doing the best they could in a world that wasn't kind to them either. But if your mother or caregiver had her own body insecurities, chances are that's shaped the way she raised you. That pain gets passed down. How many of us have ever been told to change our hair before a job interview, or had some colleague, friend, and even family member tell us our natural coils, braids, or locks are too much, too wild, or unprofessional, or have been hired for a job and after a point said, well, I'm sorry that your hairstyle is too ethnic or too cultural. We are still to this day being told that the way our hair grows out from our head is a problem. And that's not just about hair. It's about control, about shame, and about the generational trauma that gets passed down like an unwanted heirloom. Again, it's part of our DNA. Since slavery, we've been told that our beauty has to be defined by someone else's standard. Lighter skin, looser curls, smaller nose, thinner lips, and don't get me started on the weight shaming. On top of all that, we are taught to disconnect from how we feel in favor of how we appear. So we started demonstrating strength even when we were tired or wanted to fall apart or just be held. Social media is another factor that has a big influence. We live in a society that worships a certain kind of beauty that was never created with us in mind. Many of us have spent decades being told to shrink, to adjust, to alter ourselves, to code switch, just to fit into a mold that does not fit us. Whether it's through media and magazines, on TV, or now scrolling through social media, these images are everywhere. And let's be honest, most of them are fake, okay? They're edited, filtered, airbrushed, just unrealistic. But somehow we still find ourselves comparing our real, lived in, beautiful, complex bodies to these images. We need to remember that our bodies go through a lot as women: menstruation, childbirth, aging, menopause. Every phase brings changes, and sometimes it can feel like you're constantly having to adjust to a new version of yourself. Some days it's hard to recognize the woman in the mirror. I know that for some mornings, I look in the mirror and I'll see a new line in my face, and the love handles I'm working to get rid of have actually gotten bigger overnight. I'm like, oh no. uh, and also, trauma is something that has a huge influence on connecting with our divine feminine, our inner goddess. That's one, that's a topic that's pretty deep. So we'll delve into it in a future podcast. I'll just say that the energy from traumas, both physical and mental, gets stuck in our emotional and physical bodies and keep us from fully loving ourselves. The last thing I'll touch on is the strong Black woman narrative, the one that says we always have to be on, always put together, no crying, no resting, no softness. And that's strength, and it's been beautiful. It has carried us through slavery up until this point, but it's exhausting. And when it's all you're allowed to be, it definitely is a problem. Because when do we get vulnerable? When are we able to express our frustrations? If we do, we're labeled as angry or bitter or difficult, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But sometimes that label comes with a cage. It keeps us from asking for help, from resting. It disconnects us from our divine feminine energy that says you deserve to receive, not just give. Because here's the thing, your big never has been missing. It's just been waiting for you to come back to it. So that's a wrap for today's podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Drop your thoughts, questions, or experiences in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Dr. Linda, and this is Big Talk.